everybody! Welcome to a brand new live stream brought to you by Niuniu and Tony. Very happy to be here. Hello, everybody.
Guys. Good to see you.
Great to be here in the studio and doing a brand new live stream. I was doing some location shooting the other day. Well, these days, it's fun. I mean, recording something, you have the chance to edit and later on make it, put on some fun after effect.
Good.
Yeah. But live streaming is another kind of fun. It's a new kind of fun. Something, it happens.
On the spot.
On the spot. You interact with your friends online. I'm talking to you guys on 英语环球广播微博 and Sir I Learn Chinese Facebook page, as well as Sir I Learn Chinese YouTube channel. Talking to you guys, we can, interact with each other. But you also have the, problem that you make mistakes. You cannot
If you make a blunder, you can't take it back.
You can't take it back. And I always have the, make typo on my tongue, slip of my tongue.
Tongue typo.
Tongue typo. See, that happens. And sometimes you think, if I had say that way, it's even better. We have a saying in Chinese. We say, 吵架的时候总是发挥不好. So if you're in a quarrel with someone and that person is someone that you really want to win that, little fight, little discussion.
Yeah.
But after the fight, you always think, that moment, if I can say that, that'd be gold, right?
I think a lot of people go through that.
You always have that.
I should have said that. I should have said that.
I really should have said that.
Yeah.
So there are different feelings. And today, we're actually going to talk about something I think a little bit fun. Always fun to think about. It will never happen, of course. Well, I guess,
right.
Unless we invent time machine someday.
Yeah,
but you
there's
always
lots of movies on that, but haven't seen it yet.
Exactly.
In reality.
You would always think about what would be different, or if I had the chance to do it all over again.
Life in retrospect.
What can I change?
Yeah.
What can I do differently? What can I say? I would say that. I would do that. And if you put it in a larger scale, let's say you put it on 2020, because it's 2021 now, and we all said that 2020 had been a complicated year.
Awful year.
See? He's more direct and straightforward. For some people, it has been an awful year. So I was thinking, what will you do differently if you can do it all over again? If you can go back to 2020, do you have something that you really want to say to some people? If you can spend one day, for example, 1 year ago, the exact same day a year ago. Let's say today is not, what day is today? Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, January the 14th. If you can spend January the 14th of 2020 all over again, what would you do? Anything specific you want to do? I think it's a fun topic, and that is why in today's Takeaway Chinese, as well as Sir I Learn Chinese Facebook page live stream and 英语环球广播 live stream, we're going to talk about the what-ifs of 2020, and we're going to do a live stream about it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, it would be super fun. And as usual, we are recording a radio show while we're doing the live stream. So we are going to let you see the entire process of how you do a radio show. You stay in the room with a panel full of buttons on it. I'm not an expert, so I'm not really clicking all the buttons. I'm only using several of them. And I record the show. That's the beauty of it. I do the live stream, interact with you guys, and then I edit the show to put it online. So I get them all.
Well, they get an idea of what it's like to do like a production. But yeah, I think whenever there's a soundboard involved and microphone, sound quality, lighting, all this, it's a bit complicated. But
it's a bit complicated, but it's definitely more fun than not having any support and any friend and any, I like having all the support and all the tech.
Yeah.
High-techy stuff around me. I like it.
Yeah.
And as always, I would first welcome all of you who have just joined the live stream. I'd love to talk to you guys. And I see 英语环球广播的 270262019.
Is that someone's name or?
Someone's name.
Oh, wow.
And you're sending in nice flowers. 谢谢你的花花. Thank you for your lovely flowers. Thank you very much. And if you like the live stream, I have to say, please like and share and comment as much as possible.
Please do.
Please do. And as always, we're saying hello to many of you guys from Facebook. We have Makila saying hello, everyone. Hello to you too. 你好,
Makila.
下午好.
你好.
Hello. And to Majaharul saying hello. Hello to you too. And we have Christian saying 大家好, 牛牛你好, Tony, Gao, 小树, camera people, and all the amazing team.
Oh, I said hello to everybody.
Saying hello to everybody. And
大家你好.
大家好. Yes. So previously we only say hello. Well, you guys only have to say hello to several people. Now you're saying hello to more and more of us because we have got all the support, all the help, and making. I have to say the picture is much prettier today. Tony, you look really pretty.
Pretty.
Really nice.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Dashy.
Yeah, you look
Perfect.
all red today.
Well, yes, the Spring Festival period of time. Gotta look good.
Okay.
And gotta look good for
Got
the live
festive
stream.
appeal going.
Yes. And I'm saying hello to Jade, to Kenny, saying 恭喜發財.
Oh, wait, is that 恭喜發財?
恭喜發財.
Okay, all right.
Cantonese.
Hope you get rich too.
Hope you get rich too. 恭喜發財 to you
Yeah.
too. 下午好 to Kui Anthony. 下午好 Niuniu and Tony. And to Sion. Hello, happy to see all of you. Very, very glad that you can catch the live stream. And like I said, today's live stream is going to be about 2020 do-overs. So we know
2020 do-overs.
Yeah, we know that
like
it's
that.
not going to happen. We know you would never be actually able to spend even the previous second, let alone the previous year. But it's always a nice thing to think of. In Chinese, we say 开脑洞. Do you know what it means?
开脑洞.
开脑洞. 开 is open. 脑 is your head, your brain. 洞 is a hole. So if you can put a hole in your head or
Put
in
a
your
hole
brain,
in your
think
head.
about it. Do you know what it means?
Sounds pretty graphic. But,
No, it doesn't mean what you're thinking.
I think just being open-minded, right?
Yes, but 脑洞 is like, it's not talking about an actual brain hole on your brain. It's actually talking about you're opening, it's a little bit like a rabbit hole. They say if you fall into a rabbit hole, it means you're trapped in a certain idea that you cannot get rid of. You're trapped in a thought, right?
Okay.
But 开脑洞, it's like you dig a hole with your brain. You do something that you won't normally do. You think about a strange question that you don't really encounter in real life. So, for example, if we say, what if I can go back to when I was 17? This is not something you would normally discuss. It's not going to happen in real world. It's just, for example, when you're daydreaming someday, you're thinking of absurd and ridiculous and strange stuff. And all of a sudden you have this idea, what if this could happen?
I'm sorry. How do you say that again?
脑洞.
脑洞. Wow,
Yes,
that's
so brain hole.
a big.
So instead of drill a hole on your brain, you're actually digging a hole with your brain.
That sounds
you're
like
creating something strange and new and weird with your
sounds
brain.
like a Saw movie, you know?
It's not.
Drilling a hole
It's not.
in someone's head.
No, it doesn't mean that. It just means you think of something bizarre.
Okay.
But it can be fun, and you can do a brain experiment or hypothetical experiment.
So let's drill some holes in our brains today, huh?
Let's use our brains to
Yeah.
drill some holes in the real life. I have to correct you there. It just doesn't work. Okay, so if you guys understand the idea of 脑洞, of a brain hole, then probably we together today can use our brain to drill the hole together to think about the 2020 what-ifs, to think about if you can do it all over again, what would you change? And we're going to use that as the topic of today's Takeaway Chinese. And now I'm going to have a final shout out to our friends on Facebook. After that, we're going to start recording. I'm saying hello to Louis, saying 你好, hello to you too. 你好 to Colette, saying you are amazing. No, you are amazing. You have the best eyes because you spot on us. I'm being too cocky here. Juan, hello to you too. You're saying 有 HSK 考试吗? We don't really do test-oriented live streaming here. We're more in the, let's say, genre of bring you to the real Chinese-speaking world and show you how it's done. But of course, we would try to separate the level. We have the entry level, the intermediate level. You can just stay with Here I Learn Chinese Facebook page and see what content are good for you. That'd be a good idea. And hello to Zafar, to Allison, and to Gus. Happy to have you here. Oton, thank you so much for saying I'm pretty. Thank you.
That's
and
always
Ye
nice to
Ming
hear.
Wei. It's very nice to hear. Ye Ming Wei saying 他是谁？笑嘻嘻的那个笑嘻嘻的那个人 Who is that girl? The smiling girl.
Smiling girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
Niuniu here. You're watching a live stream
Nope,
with
nope.
Niuniu.
You're the smiling girl.
I'm the smiling
That's
girl.
it. That's going to stick.
And we have Tony here with me in the studio. So happy to have you. Gus saying, okay, I open heart for you. Oh, you're talking about the open brain and then open heart.
Well, you got a big heart on your shirt. I mean,
Well, I do.
That could be it too.
That could be it. Ali saying, 非常感谢, you're very welcome. Ye Mingwei asking, 会痛吗? If you're drilling a hole on your brain, yes, but 脑洞 doesn't mean that. 脑洞 means to think of a question that you would not normally encounter in real life. It's not a real life question. It's just a whimsy of a fun thought that you think of.
Right.
Christian saying, I think the lockdown was going to make me finish my thesis very fast, but I lost money, time being lazy. But in some way, I don't regret it. That's funny. Mo saying, 你好，很喜欢看你的视频. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank all of you for joining the live stream. And now this is another section of our show. That is to show you how we record Takeaway Chinese, this lovely radio show. You're going to see the whole process. And later on, you can also go to a podcast to check out our podcast program, Takeaway Chinese.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can listen to it again and again.
Learn some new words, new expressions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can actually learn it and master
Hear
it.
Tony destroy the Chinese language.
He's not destroying it. The Chinese language sometimes destroys Tony,
Yeah.
but I try to help and make that happen less and less.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started.
Let's do it.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语. Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Tony in the studio. Hi, Tony.
Niuniu. It's a pleasure to be back. Our second live stream of 2021, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Our second
Yeah.
live stream.
We're still here.
It's been a really good year, 2021. 17 days,
Yeah,
well, 14 days.
We're still
and
alive.
We are very happy. And I think it's always fun to sometimes jump out of your real life and think of something that would not happen. But you have a fun, I don't know, thought journey, or can you call it that?
Well, yeah.
Journey thinking about it.
Well, people like to live in their heads. I kind of do that too.
You have your imaginary football team?
No.
You don't do that.
Imagine certain situations that would happen or would never happen, but I talk myself through it and I enjoy it.
Yeah, you talk yourself
It's
through
like,
it.
yeah,
And
if
it's
that
a
ever
fun
happened,
thing.
I would say that.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about 2020 be a complicated, not so fun, to some people even terrible year.
Disastrous year.
Yes. So I was wondering, what would you do differently if you can have a do-over of 2020?
Ooh, wow. A do-over.
A do-over.
I'm not really sure if there's much that can be done over again.
Okay, how about this? If you can talk to yourself a year ago, what would you say if you have the chance to give yourself a phone call?
Buy lots of toilet paper.
Really?
Yep.
But you're in China, right? During that toilet paper
I could
period
send
of
it
time.
back to the States or wherever and sell it and make a fortune.
That is a very specific thing to buy,
Well, yeah, that was one of the things that ran out back home was toilet paper. Any kind of paper was out. You couldn't buy it. So if you
Didn't
had
see
it,
that
you
coming.
could, yeah, you could sell it and make a fortune. So.
Well, I think after today's show, probably you would be able to know how to say those things.
Oh, I got one more thing I would do.
Okay.
I would not have signed up for a really expensive gym membership that I purchased, and because I only went there for like 2 months and then COVID hit, I never went back. So I
That's
probably wouldn't
sad.
have, I wouldn't have signed up for that.
That's a good
membership.
one too. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we all have the moment we want to say, if I have the chance to do anything, I would, blah, blah, blah. So that in Chinese would be 如果.
如果.
如果. And today we're going to talk about the 如果 situation. We're going to talk about if a conditional sentence. So for our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway.
Chinese 101, a promise beyond the basics.
假如能回到1年前的今天，你想做什么？能回到2020年的话，我希望可以提醒大家尽早预防新冠疫情。如果提前做准备，一定能降低危害。我也是，要是我能回到去年，我希望可以带上一支疫苗，造福全人类。
This is that coulda, woulda, shoulda conversation.
Yes, could have, should have,
A lot of times we have when something could have gone better, that we could have said something or done something, but we didn't do it. And it's just like you feel regret. So you're like talking about it and you're like, I think if this would have happened, this would have been better. So, yeah, really common.
Yeah, but I have to say the would have, should have, could have is not very useful in real life, but that sentence is very useful when you're talking.
Yeah.
You can always say 如果假如的话假使 something like that. Very useful. And there are different ways to say that in Chinese.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not saying it's like useless, but sometimes it's just good to get it off your chest. Like,
That's true.
I
You
should have
vent.
done this. If I had known this, I would have done this. That
Yeah,
kind
you
of
say that a lot. That makes it very useful language-wise.
Right.
Okay, so let's crack the dialogue first,
Yeah.
and then we talk about different ways of saying if in Chinese.
Okay.
For the first sentence, 假如能回到1年前的今天，你想做什么？
So this is, if you could go back to the day a year ago, what would you do? Yeah, so here, this is one of the ways to say if. So 假如.
假如
So this is another way of saying if. 能, this is could or can.
could or can.
回到, this is like go back.
Yes.
Right? And then 1年前. So this is a year ago.
A year ago. 1年前, 1年 is 1 year, 前 is before, so a year ago.
Okay. The, so within that time. 今天, so this is like a year ago today.
A year ago today,
And
precisely.
then 你想, or would you like, or would you wish, or
Yes, you
做什么?
think of.
Yeah. So, what do you think? And then 做什么 is what would you do?
What would you do? So, 假如能回到1年前的今天，你想做什么? This is a very common way to start a hypothetical discussion about certain things. So, if something, what would you do? What would you change? I know it's, again, not always useful to think about the what-ifs.
Yeah.
But it's a nice way to exercise your brain, to go back to certain things, to go back to an event. And in Chinese, we say 复盘. 复 is like 恢复, so restore.
Okay.
盘 is a chessboard. So you think about what would you do differently. If you view the event as a game, you think about what you could have done differently.
Yeah, so it's useful. Right?
It's useful.
I still remember those guys that bought all that sanitizer, and I was like, that's crazy. But then they made a fortune.
They made a fortune. Okay, so that's the first sentence. 假如能回到1年前的今天，你想做什么? Since the question is a hypothetical situation, it's a conditional sentence. You want to answer it with a conditional sentence.
Right.
So, 能回到2020年的话，我希望可以提醒大家尽早预防新冠疫情。
So this is, if we can go back to 2020, I hope we can remind you to prevent the epidemic of COVID-19 as soon as possible. So just remind people or help prevent as many casualties as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. So 能, so this is can or could.
Yeah.
回到, go back. 2020 年. Or 2020, right?
Yes, 2020年, 2020年 works.
So this is 2020. 电话, this is interesting. This is how do you? What's the best way to say this? Like let's say?
I think it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit like let's say, because when you're saying let's say, you're basically saying a what if situation without saying the if. It's just in Chinese you can say them together. You can say 如果的话.
Okay.
That's one way of saying it. At the same time, you can only say 如果 in front of the condition, or only say 的话 after the condition. So you say 如果我是你，我一定不会这么干. If I were you, I won't do that. You can also say 我是你的话，我一定不会这么干. Again, let's say I were you, I would not do that. You can also say 如果我是你的话，我不会这么干. Let's say if I were you, I won't do that. So basically these structures all work. You can just remember if you're using 的话, you put it at the end of the condition you talk about, and that's the only difference.
I think from all of that, I understood.
Remember that.
Just put 的话 at the end. Okay,
Put
guys.
的话 at the end. Yes.
All right,
it's
moving
easier.
along.
Okay.
我希望, so this is I hope, right? 可以 can 提醒. So 提醒 is this remind?
Yes, 提醒 is remind or warning, give a warning.
Okay.
So 提 is like lift. 醒 is it's wake up. So you you wake someone up. It's kind of like you wake them up from a situation they're not aware of.
Warn them.
You warn them.
Okay.
提醒
提醒大家, this is everyone.
everyone.
Yeah. And then 尽早, this is like really quickly or as soon as possible, right?
Soon as possible, early as possible. So 尽 is 尽量 or let's say 尽早is 尽量. It basically means as something as possible.
Yeah.
To the most, to the greatest extent. And 早 is early, so as early as possible.
Okay. And you have 预防.
预防
This is like, I guess, prevent.
Prevent. 预防 yu is again in advance. 防 is prevent. So if you can prevent it in advance, well, prevent carries the meaning of in advance. To
Okay.
stop it before it happens.
And 新冠疫情, this is like COVID. This is like COVID-19.
Yes,
right?
it's basically COVID-19. It's like saying 新冠 is the coronavirus, 疫情 is the pandemic situation.
Yeah.
And it's now, I feel like a set phrase of talking about 新冠疫情. Put together, it can be COVID-19. It's like the pandemic situation, something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, we just say COVID.
Say COVID
Yeah.
works.
All right.
So, 如果提前做准备，一定能降低危害。
So this is, if we could prepare in advance, we would certainly be able to cut down on the casualties.
Yes.
Right? So 如果 again is if.
If. So now we have 3 ifs. Do you remember them?
Yeah, so I think there's 假如,
假如
and then there's 要是,
要是
and then 如果.
如果 Yeah, and 的话 is a little
so
bit.
we got 4.
We got 4. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll just remember 1, okay? Yeah, 如果.
We're gotta be more ambitious.
提前, so 提前, this is, I wonder, is this like
In advance.
in advance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So 提 again we know it's lift from 提醒 lift, and 前 is advance. So 提前, if you 提前 something, you can think of a calendar, and if you move something to an earlier date, you would lift it and then put it in an earlier date. That would be 提前, 提前. So 提前 something. That's how you move it to an earlier date. 提前.
Okay.
So in advance.
And then 做 准备. So just 做 is like do.
Do.
And then 准备 is like ready, right? Or prepare.
Or prepare. So preparation. Do
Yeah.
the preparation
Do
in
the
advance.
preparation in advance. So 一定, this is like definitely.
Definitely,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. And then 能 can or could. 降低.
降低.
So 降低, I think this is like reduce.
Reduce, lower,
Lower,
make something
cut
less.
down on.
Cut down on. Yep.
Okay. And then 危害. I think
危害.
危害 is like harm or danger, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, 如果提前做准备，一定能降低危害. Here, I want to ask you, what is the subjective in the sentence?
It's a good question.
It's a trick question because there's no subjective in the sentence.
Yeah, I mean, in English we would say we, right?
Yes.
But, yeah, it doesn't say it in Chinese.
But even there's no, let's say, actual subjective in the sentence, you can still understand, because in this context, it must mean the entire human being, all of us, the society, the country, we, I. It's just like saying, well, us, the first person, kind of like the first person subjective.
Can we say woman here, or we?
We can totally say woman here.
Okay, where
But
would we put it? Woman eating.
我们一定能降低危害
Okay.
or 我们如果提前做准备 or 如果我们提前做准备 So basically you can put it anywhere
Okay.
in front of a verb.
Okay.
And my point here is that if you are in a rather advanced level of Chinese and you do a little bit of translation work, you probably have already spot on the situation that in the English sentence, you most often will have a subjective. Whereas in Chinese, sometimes, most of the times, when the register is really high, when the passage is really official, when you're reading let's say, a notice or official document or even news, you would see many sentences don't really have subjectives.
Okay.
That is because without a subjective, you can still understand it from the context, and it's shorter, it's more concise, it looks better.
Chinese is a very contextual language.
Very
So if you
contextual.
get the context, you can, you have lots of liberties you can take.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's another thing. So do not worry about a Chinese sentence with no subject. It's fine. And you will see it more often. Just understand it based on the context.
All right.
Okay. And then we have the last sentence here. 我也是。要是我能回到去年，我希望可以带上一支疫苗，造福全人类。
All right. Wow, that was fast. So that was me too. If I can go back to last year, I wish I could bring a dose of the vaccine for the benefit of everyone or mankind.
Yeah, exactly.
So 我也是, that means me too.
Me too. 我也是. That's an easy one and a very useful one.
Yeah.
Remember that. Me too.
think,
我也是.
要是, this is if again, right?
If again.
我能, I could or can. 回到, go back. 去年, last year. 我失望, I hope.
我希望.
我希望,
You have to
我希望.
pronounce that right because 失望 is disappointed. So
right,
there is
right,
there's a
我
meaning.
希望, this is I hope.
I hope.
可以, this is can. And then 带上, so 带上 is like a bring.
Bring.
Right? Okay. And then 已知 is like one.
One.
Quantity of one. And then 疫苗, I think this
疫苗.
is the vaccine.
Vaccine, yes.
And then let's see. Oh, 造福.
造福.
So this is I think the benefit, right?
Yeah, this is a good word, but it's also a very big word. You don't really say that word unless you're talking about the whole society or the entirety of people or country or the human beings. 造 is to create. 福 is bless or good luck or just anything related to that. So it's a really big word. You say 造福人类, it's a set phrase. It's saying do good to the entire human being. You don't really say, well, 造福你, I will do good to you. You don't really say that. So, like I said, a big word. It's a little bit like How about the great cause of something in English? When you're using that, you have to be talking about something great, something magnificent.
Okay.
So big word, 造福.
造福全人类. So 全人类, this is I guess mankind, right?
All mankind, the entirety of human being,
Okay.
everyone alive.
Everyone alive.
So yeah, big
That makes
word.
sense.
造福全人类. Normally you don't use that, but for let's say year, tragedy, full of tragic kind of year.
Well, this response,
2020.
I don't think is very natural. I mean,
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a really very nice and proper response.
Well, but I think some people are like that. They're selfless, they wanted to do good, and they devote themselves in the great cause of serving the people.
If you had a vaccine a year from today, you know how much money you'd get?
Seriously, gotta stop
You
thinking
know?
like that.
Come on. So, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, you're making money, you're helping people. It's fine, it's fine. As long as you don't sell it on a ridiculously high price, I'm okay with
It's a
you.
vaccine. Nobody's got it. Are you kidding me?
You're not being a very nice person right now, You have
Yeah,
to
I
be
am.
benevolent and, helping people.
That is benevolence. You're helping. You're saving lives, but you're making money in the process. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like I said, don't make it ridiculously high. Anyway, I think we've talked enough about the conversation, and
Yeah.
let's have a tiny little summary of the if situation. If you're trying to say if in the Chinese language, you would, let's say, have several options. You have the 如果, you have the 假如, you have 要是, you have 的话. They're all really straightforward and really simple because one thing that's really different from English when it comes to the Chinese language is that you don't really have to separate the hypothetical situation with the actual conditional could happen but didn't happen situation. So, for example, in English, if you say, if you come here earlier tomorrow, I will give you more money for that day. That is the situation. That is a conditional sentence that could happen. It might not have happened yet, but it could happen. But if you're saying, if I were you, I would not do that. That is a sentence that would never happen. Or again, unless some really techy stuff appear in the world, it won't happen. So in English, you have different grammar structure for it, but in Chinese don't. So relatively speaking, I would say it's easier.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I can say it's easier. So 如果, you can say 如果就, if then, or 如果那么, that's also a if then, and you can say 如果的话 that 那么, something like that. You play with the words a little bit.
Let's try this conversation, yeah?
Let's do that.
All right, which one do you want to do?
I will be answering the question.
Okay.
So you start.
All right. All right, so 假如能回到1年前的今天，你想做什么？
能回到2020年的话，我希望可以提醒大家尽早预防新冠疫情。如果提前做准备，一定能降低危害。
我也是。要是我能回到去年，我希望可以带上一支疫苗，造福全人类。
You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Hongling, and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's talk about the 2020 what-ifs. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. And that is the recording process of the first part of Takeaway Chinese. Even though Tony had said something about, making a lot of money because he would have had the vaccine and he would make the price really high because no one has it.
I didn't say it. That's what the script said. I was just mirroring what the script said.
No, you don't make the price super high. You make enough money without making the price ridiculously high. Anyway, I'm really curious about what you guys would want to say here. And like I said, said 开脑洞, you use your head to start an imaginary hole in the real world where nothing like in the hole would happen in the real world.
Right.
But still, it's a fun experiment in your head. It's a fun process. So let's see what are some comments from our friends on Facebook.
See where other people are stuck at.
Yes. Okay, so I'm saying hello to many of you, including Ali saying 喜欢, 没麦克 saying 我爱看这部影片. Okay, I think you're trying to say I like the video, but 影片 is more like a movie or a film. You can say 我喜欢你们的节目, I like your show. You can also say 我喜欢这个直播, I like the live stream. But 影片 is a little bit too specific here if you're talking about 影片.
Yeah.
影片 film. We're not a film.
Yeah, this is a film.
This is a film?
Yeah, they like our film. That's okay. We're stars.
Perhaps
awesome.
it's okay
Love
in
the
English.
comment. Give us more.
He's messing with you. Don't listen to him. Don't say 我喜欢这个影片 in Chinese. You can say it in English, I guess. But yeah, in Chinese, you can say 我喜欢你们的直播 or 我爱看这个直播. I like to watch the live stream. That works. And thank you for loving it.
Yes.
And Tanvash, 你好. We're saying hello to Gus. Tara saying 你好吗? 我很好, 你呢? I'm very well. How
我很
about
好.
you? 你呢?
谢谢.
谢谢. I like that. 美麦克 also saying 我学到了一切. I'm learning everything. Wow.
That's an awesome statement. I'm learning everything.
I'm struggling with whether or not to read this comment because Christian said, 加油 Tony, the Bad Tone Club is here. We're destroying the Chinese language together.
I got a loyal follower. That is awesome.
Christian, don't join the club. Don't destroy the Chinese language. You know the Chinese language will destroy you someday. Don't fail it. It'll fail you. I think I heard this someone said that they lost a lot of money in the stock market, and he said, in high school I failed mathematics and now math is failing me. So I think it's a funny comment, and Chinese would do the same thing, so don't try to destroy the Chinese language. I'm trying really hard. Gus saying, how are you? I'm very well. And our lovely Gao is saying toilet paper, 卫生纸. Toilet paper is the thing that Tony would have hoarded if he got the chance to
That's
go
right.
back.
I remember talking to my family this year, and for like the first 6 months, nobody could find any toilet paper or paper towels. It was just gone. Like people just loaded up on it.
It didn't happen in China. I never had that problem. Probably because I had a little bit more than average already.
I guess, but yeah, it was just a thing. So yeah, anybody who hoarded up on that, it would be a really good business deal.
Again, very specific, strange thing to purchase. Jem saying, beautiful, thank you so much. And we have Money Rush saying, you're getting more educational. Thank you. I think it's because you're watching the Takeaway Chinese live stream. On some other live streams, we would show you different places, try out different activities, and invite different guests to talk about things. I think they're all educating in different ways.
Yeah.
It's just for this one, we're more towards the language study process, so that you would learn words and expressions, and you can even practice the sentences. On some other live streams, we would take you to different places, and we would show you some cultural aspect of the country.
Boost your vocab, certain words.
So yes, different ways. But thank you for that comment. And I think we're getting more comments about the what-ifs. Ooh. We have Colette saying 到2020年我已经学到很多东西我什么都不后悔我已经成长了太多这一年 So basically you're saying 我这一年成长了太多 Now it's 2021 and 2020 has concluded. For this year I've grown a lot and I feel like I don't regret anything actually, so it's fine if I don't go back. I like that. It's a beautiful comment.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yeah, and actually we've had a friend on Facebook saying, ooh, Because previously I posted a note on my personal account saying that if you guys have anything you would do differently, got the chance to have a do-over for 2020, what would you change? And I got some really lovely response. And I think for Rick Woodward, he got the similar response. He's saying, it's nothing, it's okay, everything is 没问题, everything is no problem, and we are moving on, we are carrying what we have learned from 2020 to usher in 2021, so it's okay if we don't get the do-over. I would not do anything differently. I think it's a beautiful mindset.
Yeah, it's a decent mindset. Pretty sure not a lot of people have it, but it's definitely a good one to have.
Yeah.
And I read one I thought was pretty interesting, and that was, I would have gotten a different job. Calling grocery employees heroes is just an excuse not to pay us well and treat us worse than normal.
Aww.
You know, I think that's a different side to the equation. You had a lot of people who were working during this time, which is a blessing. It's good to be able to work throughout the year. But I could only imagine what kind of stress that these, guys were under, having to work, when you don't really know, when this thing is coming, if you're going to get it or not, and maybe you want to take some time off of work, but you can't.
Yeah.
They push you and they continue to, so I think it was really, for some of these quote unquote frontline workers,
yeah,
it's a tough time for them.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, that was John Tacopina.
Ooh, that's a nice comment. And we have Tanoy asking 危害和危险有什么不同？危险 would be danger. So, 小心，前面有危险. So, careful, there's a danger in advance. So it's
危险?
危险 dangerous.
Isn't that WeChat?
微信 is WeChat. 危险 dangerous. So 危险 would be dangerous.
So what's 危害?
危害 is harm.
Okay.
So if you're saying we're trying to cut down on the harm or reduce the harm, you say 降低危害. Because, for example, if there is a fire, no matter what kind of precaution you have in advance, there will be a little bit of harm to certain things. It's possible that people are not hurt, but if it's a fire, you got to burn down something. The fire's got to burn down
Something's
something.
gonna burn down,
so you reduce the harm. 你降低危害. 降低危害. So there will be a harm, but you reduce it. 危险 is danger. Danger. 避免危险. So you got yourself in a dangerous situation. So 危险 danger. 危害 harm. That's the difference. Hope I have explained it clearly. Hello to Win saying up, and you shared the live stream. Thank you so much for sharing it. And Christian saying, if I was 1 year ago, I don't change nothing. I don't regret many things because I try to adapt, improve, and overcome the situations in life. I made mistakes, but I learned from them. And all these experiences made me a new person every day. Adaptation is the key for survival. Aww.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
real. That's what we do every day is adapt and don't try to go back and change things. And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie called The Butterfly Effect.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
If you go back and you change one small thing, it has this huge impact on your life.
You never know what would actually change.
So I don't think that would actually work out. I mean, I think things happen for a reason, and it is a learning process, and we're all
it is
growing.
a learning process.
Yeah.
And we have Collab saying, 如果我可以回到正好1年，我会在目标上做更多工作。Yeah, we always say, 如果我有更多时间，我会更努力。如果我年轻，我回到年轻的时候，我会花更多时间学习。
Could you translate that for a second?
Sure. We always say if we can go back, if we have more time, we would do more. If we can go back to when we were younger, we would put more time in studying and making ourselves better. I think one absolute perk of having the what if or if only is you know what to do next. You think of the previous time, you think of what you have done and what you might want to change, and you make the changes for the future instead of for the what ifs.
Well, I got a different comment from Tonya Lorenz, and she said she would have gotten a pedicure, gotten a super short haircut, stocked up on some frozen pizza, gone to see Emma at the theater, and had my car oil changed, gotten together with friends instead of saying let's hang out when the weather is nice. Totally understand that.
Well,
That's a lot of nice. Totally understand that.
Well,
That's a lot
smart.
of things. Getting a haircut, right? Because you can't go get one, this year, pretty much, and going to the movie theater, all that stuff. So that was a pretty clever comment, I think.
And also, it's I'm not gonna say sad, but it's something you actually would do.
It's almost like a bucket list, like I want to do all of these things
before quarantine bucket list. That's a terrible bucket list.
Well, yeah, that's you don't know if you're gonna make it out of quarantine, so. It's important.
Yeah.
Got another one here. Oh, this person is right up my alley. Sharon Anderson says, buy lots of Lysol wipes and hand sanitizer.
Oh.
Right there with you on that one. That's
You're
right.
buying toilet paper. And at the same time, I'm checking out some comments from 微博英语环球广播 on top of the lovely, lovely flowers sent by a really beautiful, this person has a really nice profile photo, the W27. I'm going to call you W27.
Sounds like a tax form.
I think it's just a random profile name. And we have Shuri Yang Yang. You're always here. Thank you so much for always supporting. You're saying 想起一首歌, If Only I Can Turn Back Time. It's a name of a song.
Yeah, I've
See,
heard
people
that song.
think of it all the time. 人类是喜欢开脑洞的动物啊.
Yeah.
Human being is the kind of creature that likes to think of the what-ifs, think of something that won't happen.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel like it's there's a film called Groundhog's Day where things just keep coming back.
Oh, yeah, coming back all over again and again and again.
I feel like even if we were to do it all over again, we would still mess it up in some way.
We would. Yeah.
So
Well, I would.
Doesn't really matter.
And Shuri Yang Yang saying, 这节课讲虚拟语气吗? Okay, so the hypothetical situation, that's the hypothetical situation in English. Like we said in English, if it's a possibility, or let's say if it's a condition that is actually impossible, we will use the, let's say, present tense. We would always turn the tense one step back, right? A little bit like that. If I were you, if I had half the chance, something like that. And whereas in Chinese, you don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. 假如能回到2020，希望为武汉抗疫一线做一些力所能及的事。If we can go back to 2020, I hope I can do something for the fight against coronavirus in Wuhan. I think it's beautiful. And yeah, if only we knew.
Yeah, John Green would have gotten a haircut. That's another one. Very popular.
Yeah.
Mike Glenn says, invest in Zoom and buy more meat.
Yeah, I like that. Buy more meat. We've got a little more comment. Let me read out these comments and we continue to record our Takeaway Chinese podcast show. We have Maxwell saying, learn Chinese 多谢了. Thank you so much. You're very, very welcome as always. And we have Chi saying 谢谢老师, thank you. And Kan Jingwen saying, love both of you. Even though I want to would have, should have, could have in Chinese, when my Chinese still in kindergarten. Don't worry about it. You can just say 如果, if. That's the would have, should have, could have.
Yeah,
the short version of it. Yeah.
如果就, right?
如果就, yeah. Christian saying, I regret don't apply for the job of cameraman and learn Chinese for travel to Xinjiang and Yunnan. I like that. We had some really good time there and it's tiring but really nice, I have to say. Quite nice. Okay, so let's continue recording the radio show and we can discuss a little bit more in the show. And don't worry about your questions because you can always continue asking those questions after the recording. I will have a final round of interacting with all of you guys, and please give me more examples of what you would have, should have, could have do if it were again 2020. Am I saying it right?
What you would have, could have, should have done during that.
Thank you.
During 2020.
Yes. Okay.
Language tips. All you need to learn about Chinese culture and have fun.
Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Tony. So in the conversation, we talked about what ifs, 如果.
Right.
We can use 如果, 假如, 假使, 要是, and 就 or not to say the if situation,
Yeah.
the entire sentence. And I want to say, if you could go back to the start of the pandemic, or if you could go back to 2020, what would you do differently, Tony? On top of buying toilet papers.
Well, around that time, I was in January, I was in Thailand, in Krabi Island. I might have taken a couple more weeks off and got a massage every single day and just made sure that I really soaked up the sun and really enjoyed it because it was probably going to be the last one that I would get for an entire year.
Yeah, I actually solicited some nice comments from our friends online, asked them the same question, and I tried to get some answers. And it turns out people have this little regrets, this little thing they hope they have done. Excuse me. They have this little things that they hope they should have, they feel like they should have, could have, would have done. They're tiny, but it kind of bugs you. For example, I have Jessie saying traveling outside the United States before the outbreak started. It's not a tiny thing, but it's something you hope you did.
Right, but then you wouldn't be able to come back home.
Yeah, well, it's saying before the outbreak started, so you would be able to go back home. And we have Christian saying, in this year, it was a very important year for me. I saw from the outside all the world changes because of the pandemic. The most tremendous or strange thing I saw, and what I noticed in my time, was a change of mood about the pandemic. Many theories appeared in the news related to generate lawsuits. Most of the news were in favor of a country being the origin of this issue, and I thus understood that there were some compatriots or so-called compatriots of mine who betrayed the truth and decided to blame China for the outbreak. I know that it is difficult to admit this historical fact that affected us all, and I see all that changes. And on December 29th, my father decided to go on a trip and not return to enjoy his home province forever. That day, at New Year time, everything changed for me. So some personal changes and some really big changes I observed from the world. So 2020 has happened, a lot has happened in 2020.
Wow, okay, yeah. I think, well, that's a really long response.
That's a really long response, and I get it. Sometimes I think we interact with each other online and to use each other like, there's a Chinese saying 树洞.
树洞.
树洞 is a tree hole, a hole on a tree.
Okay.
I think it's because there was this lovely folk tale about this person is the hairdresser of a king, and the king has a pair of ears of a donkey, a pair of donkey ears.
He has big ears.
Big ears. And he's hiding that secret, but his hairdresser knows the secret and he cannot tell anybody. So every day he's dying to tell people about the big secret. So he found a hole on the tree and he shouted out into the tree, 皇帝长了驴耳朵, the empire has really long ears, and that is I think it's the origin of the Chinese expression 树洞.
Wait, did the tree tell on him and he didn't get killed or what?
No, it's just that's the end of the tale.
I was waiting for the punchline. I was like, okay, he tells it to the tree, and then the tree sells him out, and he gets.
No, it's a little story about a tree. A hole on a tree is possibly something you would tell your secret to. And now with internet, if you're anonymous, if you have, Chinese people say 小号, account that you use to vent online, nobody knows it's you, you add no friends on it, then you would have a virtual 树洞yourself. You can vent, you can tell your secrets that you cannot really tell anybody there.
That can be bad too.
Yeah, Well, depends. But yeah, that's the idea. And I think it's sometimes we need a pair of ears to listen to our stories, and it's nice. And thank you so much for sharing.
失望了, disappointed, right? And I want to know more to that story. I thought that story had good potential, and I was waiting, but it's okay. It just stops. Okay, you find a tree hole somewhere and vent.
And vent. It's a small story. Short story. And also we have Rain LV saying stop the coronavirus. So that's a good one. I share that one. I think it's hard to entirely stop it, but we can always reduce the harm. 降低危害. We can always do that.
Yeah.
And we have Philip Weems saying, I fear that if I had done anything differently, the outcome would have been negative instead. That's the butterfly effect one.
Butterfly effect, that's right. Yeah, so it's a big question. You ask, would you have done anything differently? It's like, not really. Just try to enjoy whatever time that you had before, things get too restrictive.
Yeah, and there's a Chinese saying, we say 放下.
放下.
放下. So 放 is to put. 下 is down. So literally it means to put down something. But figuratively speaking, 放下 can also mean to let go. In the Chinese sentiment, you say 学会放下. You should learn to let go. Just like if you had a discussion with your friend, if you had a quarrel with your let's say colleague, if you had a lover's spat, yes, you would say, I could have said that would be gold. But you should also learn to let go. If anything happened in your life, let's say bad end to your relationship, let's say fight with your friends, you've got to learn to let go. So in Chinese we'd say 学会放下. We would have this kind of imaginary conversation with ourselves. We would have this 开脑洞 moments. But all those process is to help us to learn to let go, to 学会放下.
放下. Yeah, that's a golden principle, but then again, that's difficult to execute sometimes.
It's always difficult to execute, especially if your dream is just to, get a haircut in the beginning of the year. It's not actually a huge regret. It's just something you think of, and
it is if your hair is too long and you're looking shabby.
It's
a big
funny
regret.
one.
So.
It's a big regret. And I think this one is lovely too. I would have eaten a steak at Tango Sir with a bottle of wine. That would have held me over for a while. That's a crave.
I think maybe for some places, getting wine and maybe getting beef or something might be kind of hard.
It's really lovely. But like I said, all these process is for you to learn to let go.
Learn to let go.
Yeah.
Yes, learn to let go of going to the movie theater, guys. That's really hard. That was a tough one for me. Still haven't gone in the past year. I'm looking forward to going back. I'll let it go for now, but I'm hoping to pick it back up.
Yes. With the vaccine, I think we can have our normal lives back sooner than we expected. Yes, and now you have just to see the entire process of, well, not the entire, I would edit the audio a little bit later, but the major process of making the live stream, making the radio show. And thank you guys so much for joining us and for sending out all these lovely messages.
Yes.
Like I said, if you like the live stream, please like and share and comment as much as possible. It helps us a lot.
Yes.
And you can always give us comment about what you think during
we love to read them
the
off
live stream. We love to read them
and have some fun with them. So be sure to comment. We love
it's our way of having an actual conversation online, real-time one.
With the world.
Seize the chance. And we have Firas sending in lovely, nice little flowers. Thank you so much. Virtual ones, of course. And, and we have Futile saying, you are humiliating Bhutanese language very easy. Are you talking about destroying Chinese language and humiliate? We're not trying to do harm to any language here. We're just trying to learn. So don't join Tony's bad tone club or anything like that.
Bhutanese.
Bhutanese, yes.
That's a different area, right?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
different language. Yeah.
Okay.
And Nan saying 万事如意 for everyone in 2020. 新年快乐. Yes, best of luck and Happy New Year in 2021. That's a good one. Thank you. And we have Dionisio saying hi, hello to you too. And we have Colette saying, talking about what if, allow others to offer support for you. It is a beautiful solidarity. Thank you a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us that in that comment. And Christian saying, if I can come back in time, I speak with our president to recommend no food and big punch in the face of the people who not respect the quarantine. That's a drastic move, but I get where you're from. And yes, we would always love for our people to have a safer condition if only they knew how important it is to properly quarantine. I believe everyone would have respected.
Yeah, quarantine is useful. It's not something we all want to do, but yeah, helpful.
Yes, and Max is being very negative and saying, our lives will never be the same. Don't be so sad about it. I think it will. It will.
It's not negative. I think that's a reality. There's a new normal that we're having to adjust to, and that's not necessarily bad. It's just what we talked about today. It's just adapting.
Yeah.
And saying, letting go of certain things and picking up new things.
Oh yes, I think you're right. Sorry if I was being negative. I think that is a good attitude. Probably it will never be exactly the same, but it's also possible that something would change for the good, for the better. So, for example, we're more hygiene. We take care of ourselves a little bit better.
Being hygienic is really important nowadays.
And we are also, the pandemic forced us to advance or develop certain facet of our technology, so that is a good thing.
Yep, got a lot more digital these days.
Yes.
I mean, some jobs may be in danger, but it's all right. I mean, at least we're safer.
Speeding up the process is not necessarily bad. Yeah. So yes, this is a fun thing to think of. It's a fun, let's say, what if to spend an hour on and then move on with our real life.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, thank you guys so very much for all that, and thank you, Becky, for sending in the lovely emoji on our 英语环球广播的微博. I know you guys are only, let's say, most of you on Weibo are our domestic viewers and probably you're working, so you don't really have the time to watch the entire thing, but thank you so much for spare some moment of your busy day to watch a little bit. You can always watch the playback, and we are mostly live on CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page and YouTube channel, and on 英语环球广播微博. So if you like our live stream, make sure you catch us. You can turn on the notification so you catch us when we are live. And thank you so much for this lovely 1 hour. We had some 脑洞. We 开脑洞 a little bit and thought of some going back in time topic.
Got stuck in the mind somewhere, right?
Somewhere, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the discussion, and we would love to see you next time.
See you guys next time. Thanks for leaving comments, for joining us, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say in the future.
Yes, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye, everyone.
See you later, guys.